everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to make some delicious scones, and the special thing about these scones is we're going to use homemade applesauce. This applesauce, I have made it at home in my slow cooker. I'll definitely post that recipe as well. It's pretty simple. The ingredients are basic and it's an absolute delicious recipe to make. So let's get started. So let's get started, guys. In a large bowl, I have 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. To that, I'm going to add my cinnamon, my baking soda, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I have mentioned all the ingredients, the list of ingredients in the description box. So in case I miss out measurements while making this, just refer to the description box itself. Now I'll add this all into the flour. Just give it a quick mix so that we have all the ingredients incorporated. While you're doing that, or maybe just before you start, you could preheat your oven. You need to preheat your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, or if it's in centigrade, then it's about 218 centigrade to be precise. Okay, so now we've got all this very well mixed. So basically you cannot see any of the cinnamon in the flour. We'll then go on to our butter. Very similar to making a short crust pastry, the butter needs to be cold. I have cut it into small cubes. This just helps me break it down into the flour. You can use a pastry cutter, you can use a fork, you could just use your fingers. I'm going to try with the fork. If it doesn't work with the fork, I'm just going to use my fingers. I do not have a pastry cutter, so this is what I'm going to do. You'll do whatever is convenient for you. You just need it to break down into the flour and form like breadcrumbs. That's the kind of texture we are looking for. So let's start. I'm going to start with my fingers directly now, since I've already put my hand into the flour. If you can see, I'm just basically trying to break up the butter into small pieces and coat it with the flour, so you get a breadcrumby kind of a texture, if that's what you want to call it. Yeah, so let's just get that done. This recipe is so simple, it barely takes a couple of minutes to finish. I'll be a little slow so that you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, your hands will get dirty, so you might need to wash it or wipe it down before we move on to the next. I have made the applesauce a few days ago. I've been meaning to make this recipe for a while. I just didn't get around to doing it. Make sure your ingredients are all at room temperature. I did take everything out of the refrigerator about an hour or so before I started recording. So you have everything at the same temperature. If not, the butter might just freeze again if you put in cold ingredients into this mixture. So here you go, guys. This is what it should look like. You'll have like a sandy, breadcrumby kind of a mixture. Just trying to get the butter there. So the better you do this, the flakier you'll have scones. So yeah. Okay, so I think this should be fine. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly get my hands clean, and then we will move on to adding the dry ingredients. We need 2 room temperature eggs. So yeah, I'll just break in 2 eggs. 2 room temperature eggs into a bowl. The applesauce. So you have brown sugar here. This is a 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons of buttermilk. That also goes into this. And then we add in some brown sugar. So we'll just give this all a quick whisk. We don't need to overmix anything. This is a scone after all, so we want to keep it as flaky as possible. So So I'm going to now pour this batter that we've made, into the flour, and do not overmix it, just a bit of incorporation. Okay. So we mix that with our spatula, and then we will turn it over onto a floured board. Now you can roll this out, but you probably need to refrigerate it before you roll it out. It might be just too sticky. Let me see how mine turns out. Mine is okay, then I'll just turn it over directly onto the board. We're just looking to get all the flour mixed up into our wet ingredients. We're not trying to form a dough ball or anything of that sort here. It's almost getting there. I'm not sure how you all like to eat your scones, but then I like to eat my scones with some jam and some butter. But this scone that we are making is going, once the scones are baked and we have it cool down a bit, we'll then make a glaze. It's a very quick glaze, just to drizzle over the scones. You have, it's a bit sweet, so you probably don't need any kind of jam or anything with this. You can just eat it as is. But yeah, but that's left up to you. So let me try turning this over onto a floured surface. It has to be floured, if not it's just going to stick. So we've got some flour on the board. Okay. I'm just going to cut it out into triangles. So let's hope we can get that done with this. Okay. So we just basically want to tap this down into maybe about an inch thickness. That's left up to you how thick you want your scones, but yeah, scones do need to be a bit thick. If not, you'll not get that flaky texture. Your hands will get dirty as well. Okay, so yep, that looks fine. Try and get it into a circle, so that when you cut your triangles, you have some kind of even shapes at least. Okay, that seems okay. So let's move on to my cutter. I use a bench scraper, but you can use a knife as well if you want to. So we're just going to break these down and put some flour on my bench scraper as well. Okay, just cut these up. Okay, another. How big you want your scones are left up to you. So you cut into however many triangles you want, but try not to get them too thin. Once we've cut these out, I'm going to transfer it on my baking sheet, and then we will sprinkle that with some cinnamon sugar. Just basically take it brown sugar with some cinnamon, mixed it together, and yeah, there you have it. So I've got a baking sheet. Use whatever you have. Just make sure you line your baking sheet so things don't get stuck onto it. I'm going to try and get these triangles out. Hopefully they don't stick, and if they stick, I'll just pick them up anyway. Yeah, so you got one here. Maybe we cut this up. It seems to be sticking a bit. Another one. There you have another one. Put as many as you can fit. Don't overcrowd your pan. Remember, there needs to be some kind of circulation between each scone so that they are able to bake properly. So I guess I should use a bigger baking sheet, but yeah, I did not. So I'm just gonna take these in two this is it. I'm going to bake it in an oven for 10 to 12 minutes. The oven is pretty hot. It's like I said, it's 425 degrees Fahrenheit, 200 odd degrees centigrade. So keep an eye out on it. It should turn a golden brown and crispy on the top. And yeah, once it cools down, we will then, I'll take it out of the oven first and then I'll show you how to make the glaze. Okay, before I do that, let me sprinkle some cinnamon sugar on the top. Yep, here you go. So here you go, all baked. You can see they are a bit golden brown on the top. The brown sugar is still pretty much as it is. It's very, very hot, so I cannot even touch it. Let it cool for a while and we'll then move on to making our glaze to drizzle over. I've taken it out of the oven, so I'm going to brush them with a little bit of butter so that they don't stay too crispy on the top. I like them a little bit soft, so that's what I'm going to do. But you can leave out this step, or in addition to this, or rather in case you don't want to do this, you can, before you put it into the oven, just take a little bit of buttermilk and brush all your scones with some buttermilk and then add in your cinnamon sugar on top of it. Yeah, so now let's go on to putting the drizzle onto the scones. Okay guys, so now we will make our drizzle. I think the scones have cooled down a bit, so yeah. In a bowl we take 1 cup of icing sugar or powdered sugar, whatever you call it. To that I'm going to add in melted butter. Just make sure your butter is not hot and it's cool, room temperature at least. Following that I've used honey, but if you have maple syrup, you can use pure maple syrup as well. I did not have maple syrup, so I've just gone ahead and used honey for this drizzle. Pour that all in as well. Try to get everything inside. It looks really nice, the golden color. I'll give it a quick whisk and then I'll add some milk in. Let me see how much milk. I probably need a tablespoon or so of milk, depending on how thin this is after whisking. So just whisk it. Okay, I think I'll need some milk in this. Try. Okay, so if you can see, the icing sugar has got mixed up, but it's extremely thick. I won't be able to drizzle it on, so I will have to add some amount of milk to get this a little bit thin at least. So let me try with 1 tablespoon and then we'll decide whether we need a little bit more. If you notice, I can drizzle it, so I'll not add any more milk. If not, that will make it too thin and then we'll probably just slide off the scones. So yeah, so this is the consistency you're looking for, just enough to drizzle but not to run out of your scones. So I'll now drizzle this onto my scones. You can use a piping bag, you can use whatever's convenient for you. I'm just going to use the whisk and try my best to make it look nice. So here we go. Okay, next one. You drizzle it however you want, and yeah, you can wait for it to set for a few minutes, or add some more drizzle if you like. I'm going to just add some more because I like it that way. And enjoy it with a cup of tea, or if you don't drink tea, just have it just like that as well. I'm going to taste it and tell you all exactly how it has turned out. So guys, my daughter has given her approval. She loved it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all will give this recipe a try, and do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my videos. Thank you.